Welcome to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm your host, Stan, the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states. Today's topic's a good one. It kind of hits close to home, but it might hit close to home with you as well. It's called Fly First Class or Your Kids Will. I want you to think about that. Now, I'm notorious for saying there's no U-Hauls behind hearses, and if you see a picture of one, take a snapshot of it and send it to me. And on a side note, I've already told my consultants that, in my next phase of the Annuity Man, I want to buy a brand new hearse, and I want to just fill it with speakers and logo it up, the Annuity Man. And then I want to buy a U-Haul trailer and put logos all over it and there's no U-Hauls behind hearses and drive across the country and talk about living your life, living for the day, spending the money that you've earned and scrimped and saved to spend, and not just leave it for your kids. Spend it on you. You already own the best inflation annuity on the planet. That's Social Security. But can you see me coming through your town in a hearse, pulling a U-Haul? Of course, in that U-Haul is all kinds of swag and hats and stuff that I'm going to give away to the people as I speak like a politician. It might be part of the Stan the Annuity Man running for president, which wouldn't be a bad thing if you think about it. But I had a person the other day say, Stan, you're wearing me out with this no U-Hauls behind hearses. You just keep doing it and saying it. And my comment to him as well, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people that watch the videos, and some of them are brand new and they never heard there's no U-Hauls behind hearses. He goes, well, do me a favor and just work in, the phrase fly first class or your kids will. And I'm like, I will. I'll do it. I'll do a video on it for that. And I like that because you might have the kids I have. I have great kids, 2 daughters. But they like the good things in life. I've provided for them. And my comment is always, when I die, they'll helicopter into my funeral and then they'll drive away in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Bentley. My only hope is that they're making payments on them. I've put restrictions on the payouts of the annuities that they're going to get, where they're not going to get a lump sum. They'll get it in payment form. That's the only hope. Nod your head. You might have those kids as well. My kids are good kids and pragmatic and rational, but that's the statement I make because I'd rather you spend it than them. I always tell them, my check's going to bounce, so you're going to have to cover it, and there's a lot of life insurance to cover it, so don't complain. You'll be okay. But my good friend Jim down in Melbourne, Florida, yelled at me for years and years and years. Listen, Stan, you're 6'6", almost 6'7". Why are you flying coach? Fly first class. And he didn't say because your kids will. He just said fly first class because you can write it off. But if he'd have said fly first class or because your kids will, if you don't, I probably would have took him up on it sooner than when I did. One of the reasons I took it up, if you've flown coach anytime in the past few years, can I get a hallelujah that those seats are getting very, very small? And have you had the situation where the people that sit beside you are like, offensive tackles for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Seriously? I mean, the seats are getting smaller and the people are getting bigger. Can I hear an amen on that one? But the point is this. I need you to live for the day. I need you to start spending money. I was on a phone call the other day, and a gentleman was talking about, he had this money market, and it was paying a good percentage. I don't want to date myself on what, but it was a good percentage. And he's saying, Stan, should I lock it into a MIGA and get an extra 2 percentage points on that money? And so I said, well, right now you have it in something that's completely liquid and you're getting a high percentage, and that's great. It's like having a really, a money market on steroids. That's fantastic. Or you could lock it in and lock in more surrender charges. But here's what I said, and his wife was on the phone. I said this. I said, would the extra 2 percentage points we're going to get on that multi-year guarantee annuity, is that going to change your life? Is that going to make you spend more money? Is that going to make you travel more, eat out better, whatever that is, buy the house in Hawaii? He actually was talking about buying a house in Hawaii. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? You can afford it. Why wouldn't you? Well, I don't know. It just, it seems like a lot. How long are you going to say that? Up until your deathbed? I mean, seriously, think about it. Most of you out there can change your lifestyle a little bit for the better and not miss a beat. we talk about inflation. I just did a controversial video called Stop Complaining. I said stop bitching, but stop complaining about inflation. It was stop bitching about inflation. Then my PR team got a hold of it and they're like, we can't use the word bitching. I'm like, why? Because that's what people say. But stop complaining about inflation, because most of us can afford inflation. There's 60% of the public that can't, that don't have $400 in their checking account, but that's not you. That's not who's watching this. If you are, then my heart goes out to you. But isn't it time to start doing things for yourself? How hard is it? Or is it a disease and affliction that you can't come off of, and you really might need to go have counseling? I'm not kidding, to help you out of the doldrums of just not spending and watching, just looking at your statements and money's growing, money's growing, money's growing. And give you a personal example. My wife and I have lived in the same house in Florida for 20 plus years. Never have painted it inside or outside, never really done any upgrades. We're very blessed to live in the house that we live in. But we were always suffering from that. Well, it would be expensive and it'd be kind of a pain in the butt to do it. But finally here recently, and I tell you what, COVID has set a fire underneath me to get that bucket list out and check it off. I'm checking it out. I'm checking it with a Sharpie, a big felt tip permanent Sharpie. I'm going to live my life. And I told my wife, let's do it. Let's redo the house. I want you to get exactly what you wanted. God bless her. She's a martyr for living with me for 35 years of marriage. If anyone deserves it, it's her. And yeah, is it going to cost us some money? Yes. Can we afford it? Yes. Can you do the same thing? Probably. Should you? Maybe. Why not? Why wouldn't you? There's so many of you out there that I talk to, and we're so fortunate to work with clients in all 50 states, thousands of you. And, when I tell someone the other day, when I open up my schedule, it's like a Taylor Swift ticket event. It fills up. If you've ever tried to schedule a call with me, it's pretty tough. I mean, people want to have that brutal conversation, and word's gotten out that when you talk to me, it's going to be fun, it's going to be lively, and it's going to be brutally factual. And we're both going to tell the truth, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to get down to it. But a lot of times I'm going to ask you, what you're doing, is it going to change your life? And if it is, it's going to change it for the better. And if you're going to make more money, are you going to spend more? Because if you don't, your kids are going to fly first class. Why don't you fly first class? Think about it for a second. For those of you without kids, this is a no-brainer. Spend it. Leave whatever's left to charity, if any. For those of you that have legacy goals, and you have family members that you want to leave the money to, you can still do that, but don't do that to the detriment of your lifestyle. And you know what I'm talking about. You are rational and pragmatic, and you're not going to make huge mistakes with your money. You're not going to do something crazy where you're going to run out of it. All I'm asking you to do is upgrade your life because you've earned it and deserved it. All I'm asking you to do is upgrade the house, or buy a new car, or lease a new car, or go on that vacation, or eat out at the restaurant you've driven by 50,000 times and you say, man, that must be expensive. Find out if it's worth it. Find out if that steakhouse is worth it that you drive past. You say, well, we'll just buy our own steaks and cook it. Why not try it? I want my clients, I want my people like you that are watching me and giving me this time in front of you. I want to encourage you to do things that you could never have dreamed to do. You've earned it. You've worked forever. There's a book out there called The Millionaire Next Door. I think it's one of the best books ever written. And The Millionaire Next Door, if you want to read it, talks about most people that are millionaires they're not trust fund babies, and they're not inheritance babies, and they're not people who won the lottery, and they're not people who have just kind of walked in and won a genetic lottery of wealth. They are people that work normal jobs, and they scrimp and they save and they work for decades and they put the money away. That's the millionaire next door. The millionaire next door is not the person driving the Ferrari. It's the person driving the Honda Accord. Nothing against Honda Accords. That's who the millionaire next door is. The millionaire next door is you. And I said to a person the other day, it's time to maybe start acting a little rich. Act rich. You don't have to be arrogant and walk around with, flaunting it, but act confident that you can do things and do them. Think about where you're at. If you, with 60% of the public having less than $400 in their checking account, where does that put you? Top 10% maybe? Act like it. Do things like that's the case. You're not going to run out of money. We can structure it so you'll never run out of money. As long as you're breathing and or on a ventilator, we can structure it so you're going to get payments. We can structure it so if you go to that assisted living center and you're not thinking very well, remember go, slow go, and no go, the 3 stages of retirement. If you're in slow go and no go, we can structure it so that the income's coming in and you don't have to be a burden to anybody. It's funny. I find myself doing these shooting it straight with Stan things. And initially he's talking about annuities and we're talking about strategies. And I do that with a lot of them, but I'm finding myself doing more and more of these, which is talking to you one-on-one and saying, what's chapter 2 like? What have you got planned? It's not the same old, right? Great story. My mom in St. Augustine, Florida, she used to get these things in the mail. $10 coupon. They'll give you a $10 bill if you drive down to the Honda dealership or if you go to the local outlet mall or whatever. And she didn't understand why they were doing that. And, eventually they want to sell you something, etc. She just wanted to go get the $10. My comment to her was, you don't need the $10. I'll give you a stack of $10 bills if you stop doing that. But she's in the mindset, well, it's $10. It's free money. No, nothing's free. You got to get in your car. You got to put yourself at risk. You got to drive the car. You got to put gas in the car. No. Are you that person? That coupon person? Do you still need to be a coupon person? There was a time in my life we had to be coupon people. We needed coupons. Do you still need coupons? Do you still do that? Why do you still do that? Do you need to do that? Probably not. I'm turning into a financial therapist. Stan the Annuity Man, your financial therapist, walking you through the stages of life so you live to your fullest. But if that's my job here, then that's my job. I sell contractual guarantees. There's nothing fancy to that, thank goodness. But I want you to think about it and think about the phrase and walk around with it. Fly first class or your kids will. And I'm right. I'm right about that with my kids. And I love my kids to death, would do anything for them. And they probably will fly first class if I don't. But by the way, just if my kids are watching this, Dad's flying first class from here on in. Dad's going to live his life. Dad's going to check all the boxes. Dad's going to do the bucket list. And if there's anything left over for you, and there will be, then have fun with it. My name is Stan, the Annuity Man. That's Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'll see you next time.